Okay. Versatile Vigilante, Young Vince, Uncle Vinny. We got the man himself, Mr. Michael Policci, in the building.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming out, man. I appreciate it. Appreciate you reaching out as well.
Of course, dude. I'm excited. You have a great show.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. We were talking a little bit before you saw my show through my Livi Darconte interview, yeah?
Love Livi.
That's fucking awesome, man. Big shout out to Livi.
Big shout out to Livi. Yeah, Livi was great. I called her maybe a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago, and like thanked her, and I was like, hey, dude, thanks for, because Livi helped get me on a set, and I think back in October, she messaged me about an opportunity to be an extra, and with that opportunity came many more opportunities. And so like I just, she was like, hey, my friend's an actor and here's an opportunity. I had done some film acting before, but didn't feel like I was in the scene, you know? And so by Libby doing that, in a world full of people that can maybe hide opportunities or they want to keep it for themselves, Libby's always been someone that's like, hey, here's this, you know what I mean? And so, yeah, Livy, you're the best. Shout out Livy.
I completely agree, man. Great example of someone that's killing it and is confident enough that wants other people to kill it too.
Yeah. No, Livy's great.
That's awesome, man. So what was that project anyway? It was a movie?
Yeah. So, I don't know. Do you know Jacob Owens? Jacob Owens?
Not personally. I don't know.
He's a
I don't believe
director out in California, LA specifically, I believe. But Jacob Owens had this film festival, Jacob Owens Film Fest.
Okay, gotta check it
out. And it was this project called Skip to the Next, directed by Andrew and I believe Jorge. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, but Barahona brothers, featuring John Penne, Anthony Quintana, bunch of people in there. Nina Marcello, I think, is another one of the lead actresses in that. And I was just an extra with a mutilated jaw. I messaged him and he was like, hey, do you want to be clean shaven and have a prosthetic jaw on your face? And I was like, yeah, dude, anything, So I was a zombie. It was just like this. I don't want to spoil anything, but
yeah, we got to check it out.
This little dating show that has like a dark twist to it. And so, yeah, that was that first project. And then since then, it was just project after project. Followed a bunch of different cinematographers, Casey Fair, bunch of different directors, producers, right? And then following their stories on Instagram, you'd see an open casting call and then submit to it. And since then, it was just audition after audition, movie after movie. So.
And here we are.
Dude.
That's super cool, man. So are you acting full time? Is that your main?
Right now, yeah, I actually am. I was working an insurance job. Sucked the soul out of me. Terrible. It was just the worst thing.
Corporate America, man.
Like, 8 to 9 hours a day, and then going and doing an audition, and then filming a movie was tough. But yeah, now I'm just full time kind of acting right now, and it's the greatest thing ever. I'm blessed. So
excellent, man. So kind of walk me through it a little bit. How did that journey even start? Where you wanted to get into acting?
Yeah. So I mean, people ask me like, how long have you been acting? And I gave them this kind of lazy answer. I say all my life. As a kid, I was I was like outgoing, but I was never the popular kid. I was never like the hot guy, the jock, anything like that. And so, I mean, it really all started, I'd play pretend in my backyard, either by myself or like the two friends I had in the neighborhood. You know what I mean? Lightsaber battles with the plastic lightsabers, that whole thing. But I was bullied a lot in elementary. Like every day I'd get punched, beat up at recess. And basically, long story short, the teachers really didn't notice anything. It was hard to talk about it with teachers, or I would talk about it with my dad sometimes. Trying to dealing with bullying and all that and dealing with that world at such a young age was really hard. And so I escaped from that with comic books. So my dad had all the Golden Age comic books from the 60s, the 70s, some of the first ever Avengers comics, Iron Man, Spider-Man. And I would read those in his attic that he had. And then at school, the teachers really didn't notice, and going to recess would just get me beat up. So I would go into the library. And this librarian, shout out her, saved my life. Basically, she noticed that I would have bruises on my face and stuff. And there was a rule that you couldn't read like the young adult graphic novels, which are like the Deadpool comics, the Wolverine comics, right? But she would notice I was in there every day with my lunch tray, and she would just let me like read the books, but not check them out and take them home. So every day at recess, I would just go into the library, dude, and read comic books. And I remember reading Spider Man and hearing about this skinny, scrawny kid who gets superpowers and decides not to beat up bullies but save people. You know, I was like, I would let spiders crawl in my hands in case I got bit, and I would think like, if I become a superhero, I'm not going to beat up the bully
You're
guys.
committing.
Yeah, I was like, I'll save them, and maybe they'll stop bullying me. You know, so that kind of turned into creating this, I guess, alternate version of myself. And I'm gonna answer your question here. So with that, obviously I grew older, and my dad put me in theater. My dad used to do theater himself and was a professional actor at a certain time. He was in an old show called Blind Justice. Before that, it was called Canaan's Way. I believe Jack Black's in it. But he did theater and acting. My mom did a little bit of singing. My two older brothers are musicians even now to this day. And so my dad put me and my younger brother, we're 18 months apart, in this theater camp, a couple plays here and there, a couple musicals. I did that for a bit, and then being that close together, 18 months apart, you're very competitive with your brothers. And theater became my brother's main thing. He got his little thespian points and everything. And I tried convincing myself I would do music.
Mm-hmm.
I love music. My brothers taught me guitar. My dad put me in a little bit of guitar lessons. Um, Taught myself how to produce music, rap a little bit, sing a little bit, but it didn't fill my soul, right? And while I was doing that in high school, um, modeling actually just kind of during like 2016, 2017. Do you know who Jay Alvarez is?
Jay Alvarez.
Old influencer. He's like surfer hair, blonde highlights.
I bet if I saw him, I'd
He
remember.
made these like travel vlog videos with like drone shots and like
Okay.
surfboards with like a pretty girl leading his hand or whatever. And everyone I feel like at the time was trying to be these Jay Alvarez influencers, really blue water, make it with a cool little house music over
Sure.
the YouTube video. And so I was hanging out with photographer friends that did that, got a couple cool photos, posted them on Instagram, and then dated a girl who was like not Instagram famous, but was like trying to be that go that
Okay.
route, Instagram influencer. She taught me how to edit on Lightroom. She would do photo shoots with me, and we started posting those, and photographers started finding my page through reposts or whatever, right?
Right.
And editorial modeling kind of came to me. And I started doing photo shoots. I know senior year of high school, I went to Robert Black Ford, so Ford RBA models.
Okay.
I went to an open casting call. I remember getting to one of the final rounds, and they were like, we don't know if you have a face to be a model or like be on a magazine. And me being 17, I was like a little arrogant. I was like, okay, well, I disagree, but watch me. Like, I'll do it myself kind of mentality. And so, again, tying that back to that Spider-Man thing is like creating that version of yourself that isn't beaten down by the world, right? Like, okay, well, there's a version of me that can go for it, shoot for the moon, right? Which my dad always encouraged me to do. And so when this modeling stuff started happening, I just started doing that. And then with every photo shoot, I feel like I would create a character, right? If we're doing an edgy photo shoot with a leather jacket in the desert smoking a cigarette, it's like, okay, well, I'm creating a character in my head here to make my face do that, right? Acting without the lines,
Sure.
essentially. And then that turned into commercials, right? Or a video where you're modeling something on a video, and then a commercial with no lines. And then I got asked by this production company called Yellow Box Films. They asked me to do a music video, and we like drove an old Cadillac and beat up some old guys, like some old thugs or whatever, in an old derby rink. It was like a rock and roll band music video. So that was like acting without lines, and that turned into, hey, do you want to do a quick short film for my buddy's album promotion video, And then that turned into kind of that weird little space where I was working with little directors here and there, right? A couple of short films here and there, but they never went anywhere. They would just get disbanded or never get published. And then acting kind of made a full circle into my life, and modeling. Male modeling's weird because there's like a shelf life, I think. You
Okay.
know, like when you're 18 to maybe mid 20s, unless you've got a really young face, there's a shelf life with it, right? And I didn't really like runway. I like the more creative editorial stuff. And there's not much you can do after when you're like 30 unless you're modeling for the men's section in Target.
Right.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, I was like, I want to do more. I know I was meant to, I've always believed I was meant to be a creative and entertain or do something along those lines, whether it's music, acting, modeling, whatever. And so I was working with these directors. They didn't go anywhere, and I was just kind of stuck. And again, shout out Livi. She knew I was an actor, and she reached out about this director that I was already following at the time, and Andrew Barahona, who made the Skip to the Next video and film, sorry. And yeah, she got me in there, and I walked in there as an extra, and I just stayed in my lane, man. Like I arrived on set, didn't do anything crazy. I just shook everyone's hand, said thank you for the opportunity. Can I get your Instagram? I'm very big on energy, right? Like I don't believe in fake people. I don't believe in showing up fake. I just believe in genuine connection with people. And I feel like if you work hard and you have good energy, then sometimes that can take you farther, even more than your acting ability, right? So yeah, I guess I don't know what I did, but I must have done something right with the universe or something. And some of those connections I made, they would post something or they reach out to me about another project. Casey Fair, who worked on that film, Skip to the Next, after that project, reached out to me about a church video he was doing. So we did a little film with some music and stuff for that. And from there, just kind of, I saw an audition, I would audition for it and get the role, right? And then that was another film under my belt and another one. And then obviously I was an extra on a couple other films in between those, just
Right.
getting as much set experience as possible. And now we're at the point where acting is like, it fills my soul, dude. Like working 10 hours on a song in my in-home studio versus 10 hours on the set. It's like night and day, dude.
Right.
So yeah, and so I guess does that answer your question? I
Absolutely,
guess,
man.
yeah,
No,
how
that's
we
a hell
kind
of
of
a
got there.
story, bro.
So yeah, but yeah, man, that's kind of how we're here now. So
That's really good stuff, man. I really, when you were talking about the childhood bullying stuff, that was a very, I could tell, important part of your
yeah,
story. And it's interesting because you kind of referenced it. It's very easy to just take the villain route of
yeah,
like, nah, fuck everybody.
right,
Like, I'm just gonna. That's a common thing. You're treated poorly, so you treat others poorly.
right,
I do like that you took the hero side of the
yeah,
story, the Peter Parker side of like,
yeah,
nah, man, I don't
yeah,
want other people to feel that way.
right,
That's good stuff, man.
yeah. And I think I don't know. I mean, I've told a few people this. I think anyone can, they want to be an actor for fame, right? Or the popularity or whatever the case may be, right? Or maybe it's an ego thing, right? I mean, the big thing for me, man, like my why, obviously my dad, like I said, he did acting. He sacrificed acting to raise me and my brothers. My mom was in and out of the house growing
Okay.
up. She had, her own things and struggles to deal with. So it was really just me, my brothers, and my dad
Wow.
growing up. And then my two older brothers, they moved out. So it was me, my younger brother, and my dad. And, so growing up without all that, there's a lot of internal stuff you figure out about yourself. I wasn't really the kid always playing out in the neighborhood. Majority of the time, I'd want to play with my action figures and create like like a whole trilogy, dude. I had plot lines and stories made up with these action figures. And, I was always wanting to create, you know what I mean? But my bedroom became kind of like my, I guess, creation chamber in a way. It's like where who Michael was really formed, I think, in those quiet moments. And even now when I'm stressed, like I like to just log off social media and just meditate in my room and just figure it all out in here. But my big why, was I want other people to know that kind of like what my dad taught me, shoot for the moon. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter where
Right.
you come from. if you're bullied or not, right? If you're a nobody or whatever, outcast. Like even in high school, I had a group of friends, and I've got a solid friend group now, but I was never the popular guy. I just kind of was on my own path and found people that matched that energy and
Yep.
found my little tribe. But, my big reason for what I want to do is like, I want to inspire people, to maybe one day have a kid or something, right? Like, dream role is play a superhero, dude. That's like inner child circle, full circle moment complete. If I could play a superhero before I die, that'd be sick. But
Which one?
dude, I mean, I love Spider-Man, but
Okay.
Tom Holland's
There you
got
go.
that in the bag. So
Yes.
I feel like right now with where Marvel is at, I feel like I could do Cyclops. I feel
Okay.
like I
That
could
would
do
be
a
sick.
Cyclops.
Little X-Men
Yeah, DC,
vibes.
dude, I would love to be like Red Hood, if you know
Okay.
who that is, like the second Robin, dude.
Right.
That would be sick. But yeah, man, I mean, I want to have that moment of just showing someone that you can really do anything.
Right.
Arizona, I mean, I think now there's a bigger film scene, but
Okay.
most people, when they think of film, you got to move to LA to be an actor, right? Or you got to be maybe Atlanta or maybe Vegas,
Yeah.
right? And Arizona's not really looked at as like you can get famous from Arizona, like being an Arizona native, right? And so just to have that show of like all odds can be stacked against you and you can still make your own destiny kind of thing is, I think, the thing that drives me, is like, what would my inner child think of me now? Be the hero that your inner child wanted you to be, kind of thing. So,
Sure.
but yeah, man. Yeah.
No, that's real, man. And also shout out to your dad.
Yeah.
I think everyone understands the importance of family, but I almost think it's underrated at
Right.
this time. You hear a lot about baby mama, baby daddy,
Right.
whatever.
Right. Yeah.
What about a father? What about a mother? What about brothers, sisters? Like that's real shit, you know?
Yeah.
So I like that you share that because it's very common to you hear a lot of negative about fuck my baby daddy, like weird shit
Right.
like that.
Yeah.
No, that's the most important people in your life,
Yeah.
especially your first however many years,
Yeah. And I've got a great stepmom now and two great stepsisters. And my dad remarried, and they're
That's real,
great.
man.
But yeah, definitely like, if a parent steps out, the parent that steps up, right? Sometimes it's
Yes.
not just blood that makes family, right? So it could be your friends, it could be your step parent or whatever. But yeah, shout out my dad. His name's actually Tony Stark Polici, which is like fun fact.
Hell yeah, man.
But
He could have been on The Sopranos.
I know, yeah, with our
Hell
little
yeah.
Italian genes. For
Love
sure.
that.
Yeah.
No, that's great stuff, bro.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. I really enjoyed that
Of
biography.
course. Of course.
Being in the male modeling industry, I don't believe I've honestly chopped it up with anyone in that industry.
Yeah.
What was that like? I picture kind of a, high stress, like you must do this,
Yeah.
like rigid.
Yeah.
Am I on point?
I mean, I feel like I got kind of lucky, right? Because I was doing a lot of this independent, so I wasn't with like a big agency or anything, and I'm sure with that there's a lot of rules and a lot more stricter guidelines you have to follow. I know for women it's crazy,
Yeah.
right? Like you have to stick to this diet, and like you want to try and stay to your one size of bikini modeling or lingerie photo shoots or whatever
Yeah.
you're modeling, right? Streetwear, all your measurements. So I know there's a lot more pressure on like the female community for that. And I know maybe for males too, in a very high agency like Ford or something, maybe there's a lot more guidelines. I did runway like one or two times. Runway was probably the most stressful thing for me. It just felt like go, 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 go. Which is why I gravitated toward editorial. But yeah, I mean, male modeling's weird because a lot of photographers would, they put flowers in my hair, makeup on me, and I think there's like a, what's like the word I'm looking for? There's like a stigma, I think, too. Getting makeup on your face or whatever makes you not a man, right? If you
Sure.
have flowers in your hair, you're not a man or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then you have people like Harry Styles who people congratulate him for wearing a dress on a magazine cover. You know what I mean? And I think true masculinity, right? Whether it's super macho man, lumberjack with an axe in the woods, sweaty, hairy chest, and you're buff, right?
Right.
Or you're a pretty boy and you've got flowers in your hair, whatever. I think true masculinity comes with confidence, right? And I also, with that, I think there's a thin line between cockiness and confidence. But I think just true confidence in who you are and knowing what you want to do and what you can bring to the table, I think that's where true masculinity comes. And oftentimes photographers would reach out to me because there wasn't many male models who were willing to get flowers on their hair or get makeup done on them, right? And or do these kind of dainty, like, I'm gonna look up at the corner right here and put my hand delicately on my face like this. Like, there was some weird thing that working with other males, sometimes men would just be rigid or not know what to do, or they're too nervous to like lean into.
I definitely wouldn't know what the fuck,
Right,
you know?
right,
So
yeah. And so
that's real.
I mean, and I don't want to make it sound like I came in and I was just immediately, I knew that stuff. Obviously, like my first photo shoot, I was nervous, right? You know, but photographers know how to pose you, right? So like, try doing this, right? In high school, I did dance, you know, ballet, jazz, modern, contemporary, hip hop, tap dancing, all that kind of stuff. And so I knew how to move my body and do certain poses and have this sort of gracefulness to it, but I didn't know what modeling was, dude. The inner child in me didn't think I would ever be pretty enough to be a model. I was like the ugly weird kid at recess, you know what I mean? So all of a sudden having photographers being like, hey, we want to photograph your face and your green eyes, like you're so pretty, like blah 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 blah, you know, it was such a weird thing for me to navigate, I guess, and get over, but I'm blessed for it. You know, I love modeling even now. Like I'll do a fun photo shoot if there is one, or a cool concept. But editorial is definitely a lot more fun than runway, in my opinion. I know some people love runway more, or vice versa. But yeah, man. I mean, being a male model, it was different for sure. I think a couple of my friends were like, "Yo, Michael, what are you doing, bro?
Right.
Like, what is this?" You know, and once I started doing it more, people just started, you know, well, I guess going with it.
Yeah, like he's doing this. Okay.
Yeah,
it is what it is.
And that's what's funny is like when people start chasing dreams, I think one of the biggest fears is like, oh, what will my friends think?
Absolutely.
And I mean, even someone like you, right? Starting a podcast, it's like the first time you're like, oh, well, I want to start it, or maybe I want to start a TikTok, and I'm gonna block all my friends, or like disable the contact feature, right? So they don't see it. But if your soul is yearning for that sort of thing, and the goal is to like make a living off of it, eventually they're gonna see it anyways. And majority of the time, people don't care, dude.
Absolutely.
Like, my dad told me something at a young age that if it's not gonna matter in 5 years, don't worry about it, right? And 5 years from now, like even when I was posting my first modeling photos of the flower in my hair, it's like 5 years from now, is someone really gonna be like, oh, remember that time Michael had a flower in his hair in a picture? No, but like, look at where it's gotten me, right?
Yeah.
And
it's like one of the pros and the cons about today is like there's so much going on that it goes so fast. But the pro of that is if you fuck something up or whatever, no one's remembering shit.
Right.
Even after a day down.
That's how you learn.
That's it, man. You got to build the experience.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And it's like, again, kind of like what I said earlier. I mean, you're gonna be judged regardless.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You might as well go for it.
Yeah, have some fun, man.
Do what you want to do, and haters are gonna hate.
Yeah.
Publicity is still publicity, bad publicity or good publicity. If the haters have your name in their mouths, there's free advertising, dude.
For sure,
Let them, you know? But it's like, end of the day, my worst fear is I don't want to die looking back and saying I didn't try something out of fear. You know what I mean?
Man.
Out of fear of what other people would think, because you only have one life. You know what I mean? It's like, might as well do it. If I wake up tomorrow and decide I want to be a writer and write a book,
you can.
Sure,
exactly.
do it. You know what I mean? I'm going to hate my life more if I just look back in 20 years. I was working a 9 to 5 and I said, man, I never wrote that book.
For sure, bro. Because we get so far ahead, like, oh man, if I write the book, then who's going to buy it or who can publish it? No, just fucking write it.
Right, yeah.
First.
There's an audience for it.
That's it.
I think
even if there's not, you can write it.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't stop that for outward appreciation or outward like acceptance.
Exactly.
You got to do that first.
Yeah.
And then that comes.
Yeah, and I think, I forgot who said it. I think some celebrity said it, but I think dreams, how can I try and translate this? I think if I have a dream, somewhere else in the world, someone else might also have that same dream. Right? It might be a little different, but I think you have to act on dreams when they show up. I think dreams have a shelf life just as much. And when you get that urge of like, oh, I want to do this, and you just hold on to it, and you hold on to it, and you hold on to it, you either end up never doing it, or you watch someone else do it, and it works.
Right.
And no matter what you do, I think there's always going to be an audience for it. Like, whether it's 5 people, 100 people, 1,000 people, 10,000 people, 1,000,000 people, whatever. I think if you write a book, it doesn't matter if 10 people bought it. You know, like, as soon as you publish it, dude, you're an author.
Exactly.
Your dream is to be an author or be a musician. You make a song, you post it on SoundCloud, Spotify, YouTube. To me, you're a musician,
I
dude.
agree.
You made a song from your brain, put it on paper, made it a final product, and you published it. Same thing with a director. If you make your first movie on an iPhone, and some people are like, oh, I'm trying to be a director. No, dude, you directed a whole movie, you know, or you made a whole movie. You're that, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And so I think the important thing is just act on it. And I'm not perfect by any means. I get scared. I get nervous, you know, but it's like fear is where growth comes. When you lean into fear, crazy things happen, right?
Absolutely.
Because if you just stay in your comfort zone, nothing changes, right? And it's so easy to get stuck, I think, and just, this is what I'm used to. I'm just not going to change it. And then you end up regretting things. So
you're absolutely right, man. The time is going to pass anyway.
Yeah.
I've seen that quote sometimes where it's
That's
like,
a good one, dude.
you know, if you, oh, it's going to take me, if I go back to school, I'll be 40 by the time it's done. Well, you'll be 40 anyway.
Yeah.
Like, why not go do it? Yeah. Exactly. Like, that time's going to pass, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who cares? You didn't do it before, you could do it now.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's funny because now, again, looking back, male modeling, obviously I wanted to make a living doing it, you know, but I didn't really know where the road was going to take me. I knew it was like, I had a fork in the road of like, okay, I can do this music stuff and these songs that I'm making on SoundCloud that aren't really going anywhere. The live shows aren't really going anywhere. I think I performed like 2 live shows, maybe 3. Didn't really feel any traction from it. Or these like weird modeling things that I'm getting like hit up in DMs from photographers saying, hey, do you want to do a photo shoot like this? And this is hot, so I'll put my eggs in this basket and see where it goes. And looking back, I think, and again, I'm not a casting director, I'm not a director or anything, but I think having that experience of being in front of the camera for so long, just doing poses, helped with acting. You know, it was a natural bleed into acting of like, if someone were to look at my Instagram, they could see, oh, this guy's comfortable in front of a camera. Can he act, right? And then they look at my previous work or whatever. But there was always a reason for everything that goes on in your life, right? And I think, again, just with being stuck, so many times we think, what's the point of all this? Why is this happening to me? And usually there's a bigger purpose that's going to come after it, or it's going to help you in some way. Me being bullied, I thought it was never going to end, right? And I mean, even now, who knows? Like me saying this right now, there could be someone watching that's like, dude, I was bullied too. Like, you went through that?
For sure.
You know what I mean? There's people I met on set where I'm like, oh yeah, I'm a nerd. Like, people look at my Instagram and I get this all the time. People think I'm like this cocky douchebag guy, maybe a player, maybe just like stoic and mean. And then they meet me and they're like, dude, you're dorky, energetic, you're a nerd, you love Star Wars, Marvel, superheroes, you play D&D, like you're a geek, you know? And I'm like, yeah, dude, you know? Yeah. And I make so many connections with that. But at the time when I was younger, I didn't think I'd ever find anyone that liked what I liked. You know, it felt so isolating. But anyways, yeah, I'll stop rambling here.
No, that's good stuff, man. I think that's like a very relatable story for a lot of different people, man. Even if you're not bullied, but whatever, like everyone at some point, I think I like how you put it in your room, you like found out who you are. That's where you learn. And I think we all kind of deep down know who we are. Are we able to express it? Are we able to actually live that way? Or are we just wearing that mask all day?
Right.
You know what I mean? And another superhero reference, like it becomes one of those things of like, you're wearing that mask and not able to be who I want to be. You know, that's no way to live, man. Whoever you are, you got to express it. You got to let it go.
And that's why, and I'm gonna take this off a little bit.
Yeah, my bad. It's a little hot in
dude,
here.
You're good, dude. We're having a great
105 out today, by the way. Arizona shit.
But I mean, that's one of the reasons why, you know, I love Spider-Man so much. Right? Not to nerd out here, but
let's talk Spider-Man.
Dude,
bro.
let's talk
I have not talked Spider-Man on this podcast before.
But yeah, I mean, being the skinny kid that is smart and witty, right? And it's still a handsome guy, but he's just known as the nerd, right? And then he ends up pulling like the prettiest girl in school, MJ, right?
Yeah.
Or even Gwen Stacy, if
Right.
you want to go.
Yeah, he had a roster, man.
Yeah. And but the funny thing is, like, you could easily look at Spider-Man and say he has two different personalities, and that's really not true. It's like, I think when Peter Parker first put on the mask, no one knew who he was, so he could finally have that safe space to,
Right.
like, I can be, like, if you've ever been in a city where no one knows you, like, if you've ever traveled alone, you have this sense of, like, I can be whoever I want and no one knows me. It's this, like, freeing feeling. I feel like that's exactly what happened with Spider-Man, right? And Peter Parker and Spider-Man are the same character, but if he just showed up to school the next day, all of a sudden, charismatic, cracking jokes, people would be like, you're Spider-Man, for sure. Or why are you trying to sound like Spider-Man right now, weirdo,
exactly.
right? So he has to consciously decide, I'm not going to do this, right? But if he could, he would, for sure, right? But that's where I think there is, and I'm not encouraging, like, make a fake identity for yourself and, like, pretend different, but that whole saying of fake it till you make it, I remember one of my good friends was like, bro, when did you get confident? And it's crazy to me because I genuinely cannot pinpoint a moment where I was like, oh, I woke up this day and I was confident. I think for so long there was a moment of, like, I remember in high school one day I just woke up and I was like, high school doesn't matter, dude. Like, none of this matters. Like, even now, like, I can't think of certain moments in high school that, like, truly changed the whole direction of my life, right? And I can't remember certain lessons from high school. Like, so I remember when I figured that out, there was kind of that freeing feeling that I was just talking about. But genuinely, I think subconsciously I was kind of faking it till I made it, in a way, of like, there's this other version of myself that I know I can be. So I'm going to just try and make choices that version of myself of, like, I don't let people's opinions get to me. I'm not scared to try new things. I'm going to just lean into that identity. And that's why I say acting my whole life, is because that was almost playing a role. And I didn't even realize it at the time. But now that I'm looking back, it's like I was subconsciously playing a role or a character, right? A character who doesn't care about what people think of him, can go after crazy things, joins the talent show, stands up in front of the school. You know what I mean? Breaks up a fight, whatever. And I think that's where that power of putting the mask on, right? And where Stan Lee says with Spider-Man, where anyone can wear the mask. It's like, anyone can do it, dude.
Yeah.
It's not, you're not like a Batman where you have to be a billionaire to be the superhero. It's like, all it takes is just courage to do the right thing, be a good person, or whatever that version of your Spider-Man is, right? And that's why I love him so much, dude. And just, I was always the skinny kid, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And to have a superhero go through what he goes through at 14, because Spider-Man got bit when he was 14, just comic knowledge. Being a 14-year-old dealing with all these crazy villains and having buildings collapse on you and still choosing to be good when, like you said earlier, could have easily used that strength to beat up every guy that beat him up in school, take the villain path or whatever.
Yeah.
I think there's a power in that, and, like, that's where I connected with that, dude. But
no, that's good stuff, man. It's one of those things where it's like everyone has their own characteristics, right? We're all people, but everyone, if you're on this fucking earth, you're gonna go through some shitty times,
of course,
some tragedy. Hopefully you have a support system and you can have some fun and some positives.
Yeah.
But I do feel there's this kind of weird thing right now where it's like, oh, this person, they're like, for example, if their parents were born with money.
Yeah.
Oh, this person, they were born with the silver spoon. Fuck them. They still go through crazy shit, man. They still have the same battles that everyone else has. Of course. And Spider-Man, his fucking uncle died.
Right.
You know, like, he wasn't just blessed by these amazing abilities. Like, he went through that. Shit happened. He dealt with it.
Right.
I think that's real life, bro. No one makes it out of here without getting those bruises you talked about, right?
Yeah.
What do you do with it? Mm-hmm. And I like that your story is not a excuse for villain story. I said that already. Like, it's good stuff, man.
Yeah.
I think that's a good comparison.
And I like kind of touching on what you said. I think everyone's born with a set of cards. Obviously, I'm extremely lucky, right? Yes, did I have a mom who was, like, in and out of the house, sometimes gone for months, and just a single dad, for sure. Did we have food stamps growing up? For sure. I lived that. Was I too young to realize that we were on food stamps? Of course. But when I was older and figured it out, I was like, dang. But my dad never let any of those things like bleed onto the rest of us, right? Like my dad would work 14-hour days, right? Like taking care of 3 boys, you know, and shout out dad. But, you know, I think, are there people that had it worse than me? For sure. Like, despite all that, I still grew up in a gated community. I went to a nice school, right? There's people who can't afford school. There's people that don't live in a gated community. I had a 2-story house with tons of bedrooms. I'm eternally blessed. I know that. And there's people that have it worse for me, for sure. And then there's people who have it way better than me, right? I think in any position of your life, there's always someone who can look up to you and someone that you can look up to, right? But there's always someone that has it worse than you, someone that has it better than you, no matter where you're at, right? And even if you're a billionaire, there's going to be someone that's got $2 billion, right? And so with that is what you make of it, right? You can easily let life crumble on top of you and destroy you and have this victim mentality of the world's against me. I can't do anything. I don't have power to change whatever, right? Or you can say, I'm going to do everything I fucking can, right? Excuse my language. Do everything I can to try and get out of the situation and make something for myself, right? Make my life mine. Take control of it. Take it by the reins and see what I can do with it, right? And sometimes that's all it takes, right? It might not always work out. Have I tried things that like didn't work? Yeah, dude, I tried making music and that was like not it. I suck. But like, you know, I still tried it. You know what I mean? And it could have blown up, it could have not, you know, and that's how I found what I'm doing now. And even now, I'm not some famous actor or anything like that. I'm still starting out. I'm still learning things about that industry and everything. And so, yeah, man, I mean, I think there's just a power in just like deciding to go for it. I think that's the first step is just saying like, I'm scared, frozen, but I'm going to just take a step anyways and see what happens, right? Ask that girl out, right? Go after that job opportunity. Go after that dream. Buy the podcast equipment. Just make a video.
Yeah, you got to rip that Band-Aid,
post the button, you know, hit the post button, you know, try and get on a movie set. Try and make a song. Release it on something, you know, whatever it is. Start typing, you know, like being an author. Just start writing. That's like my friends who are authors, their best advice they always say is like literally sit in front of the computer 10 minutes a day and just see if you can type anything, right?
Yeah, it's good.
See what comes out, you know, and it's, again, making that first step that I think is the important thing. But yeah, man.
I like that, bro. That's an attitude that I definitely agree with and try to live by as well. That's
Thank
real
you, bro.
shit.
Yeah.
Keep that up, man.
Yeah,
good
dude,
stuff.
I
Good
definitely
positivity.
will. I definitely will, man.
Hell yeah. So we talked a bit. You're an Arizona native.
Yes, sir.
And you mentioned like Arizona film scene.
Uh-huh.
As an outsider, I'm from Canada. I moved here.
No way. You're from Canada?
I'm Canadian, bro.
No way.
Yes, sir.
Hey, shout out Canada. Where are you from in Canada?
I'm from Toronto.
Oh, sick. Okay.
Yeah, man. We're out here. We're out here, but I'm in Arizona, in Tempe, Phoenix, whatever you want to call it. And I'm quite impressed by the community that's here in terms of arts, you know, film, music, events. Like I see a lot of cool events.
So many talented people here.
Has it grown in your eyes over the kind of your lifetime, I guess?
I mean, I from what the little that I've seen, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I know, again, like when I was younger, there was theater communities, right? You had your theater in your schools, and then you had these like studios, like Studio 3, I think it's in Mesa. That's like a theater community. But like film scene, I think, has definitely grown. And I don't know maybe what attributes that. Again, I feel like I just kind of entered the scene.
Right.
But, you know, I think with LA getting overpopulated and people coming from LA and with the growth of social media, I think it's a mix of things, right? But it's no longer you have to be in Hollywood to be an actor, right? You can make a short film on your camera, on your phone, post it onto YouTube or TikTok, and then someone sees it, and now you're driving out to LA for an opportunity or vice versa. So I think with that, those two things combined and people moving here from LA or Atlanta or wherever the case may be, I think the film scene definitely has grown.
Yeah.
And I will say everyone's really positive, dude. I haven't met.
I feel that way too, man.
Thank God. Like, knock on wood.
Yeah.
But you know about a sneeze. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think luckily, you know, I think everyone's I've met has been really genuine people.
Right.
And it's just people who love the art, who just love to create. And yeah, dude, I've been blessed to be surrounded by those people and get advice from different actors, directors, producers, anyone, right? And
Yeah.
so, but it's definitely grown, I think. And I think more and more people are joining it. More and more people are like, I want to pick up acting, and they just start shooting for auditions, dude. And I
Right.
think that's awesome. You know what I mean? It's like just go for it, dude. So yeah, no, I definitely think so.
I see no reason why it shouldn't continue growing too.
Yeah,
Like to me, I feel Phoenix has always been kind of slept on. Like it's a
right.
big, there's a lot going on. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's so close to LA, absolutely. But everyone can't be in fucking LA. Like there's
Right.
other places, you
LA's
know?
expensive, dude.
That's the thing. And here I feel you kind of get like even the way you can film out here, like
Right.
when it's hot as fuck, it's different. But
Yeah,
when
it's
it's
hard.
nice out, you have a crazy scenery, you have a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah,
I feel low key, it's like a pretty slept on.
I do too.
It's growing and it's still slept on.
Yeah,
I feel.
and I know I think they're building a studio. I may be wrong, dude. I know they're building a studio. I think out in Vegas right now.
Okay.
I know Texas, Houston is probably getting some
Why
studios
not,
or
man?
a bigger film scene. But yeah, dude, you have all this desert, like Good, Bad, and the Ugly. Parts
Yeah.
of those
Hell
old
yeah.
Western movies are filmed in Arizona, dude. We've
Yeah.
always been like a location for
Right.
it. You know, I just think because of social media and magazines and Hollywood, right? You just led to believe that you have to be in LA to make
Yeah.
it, and that's what the way again social media is now. It's just not the case anymore. You can build your whole life here and then get someone in LA to notice you, you know?
Exactly.
And so, yeah, dude, I think it's definitely growing. I don't see why it shouldn't keep growing as well. I agree with you on that. Also, dude, make more movies, dude. We need more movies.
Yeah.
I'm a movie theater guy, okay? I'm tired of streaming. I'm tired of Netflix originals. Have you seen Obsession yet?
No. It's sick.
Dude, young director.
Who's in that one? I've heard of it for sure.
There's this new girl. I might mispronounce her name. Indy Navarrete.
Okay, I'll have to look that
have
up.
to find
Did you see Marty Supreme?
I did see Marty
What were
Supreme.
your thoughts?
Um, I liked it. I think Timothy Chalamet got a little bit too big of an ego.
Huge ego, man.
I think if he just like shut his mouth a little bit and like just released the film, it might have gotten better reaction. I still think Timothy Chalamet is like good.
Yeah.
Like especially some of his earlier films, I think are really good. But yeah, dude, I just think with all the negative press and everything, Marty Supreme just suffered.
It was interesting.
What was the other movie that was competing with Marty?
Sinners.
Sinner.
Yeah.
See, now Sinners,
Which I haven't seen either.
you've never
No,
seen
and
Sinners?
I've got it on Prime and I haven't pressed play
Oh,
on
dude.
it. I gotta watch it.
And I gotta say, Sinners blew Marty Supreme out of the water.
Interesting,
Like,
bro.
Michael B. Jordan, the GOAT, dude.
He's sick.
Yeah.
Legend. He's come a long way too,
Yeah,
man. I remember him from Friday Night Lights, the show back
Yeah,
in the
dude.
day.
Dude,
as
I
a
remember him
quarterback.
from one of my favorite movies ever, Chronicle. You ever
Yeah,
seen
yeah,
Dude,
Chronicle
Chronicle's a
back in the
banging
day,
movie,
yeah.
dude. It's
Yeah,
so
and
good.
he was Creed. He played
Yeah.
Apollo Creed's son.
Dude, yeah, Creed is great.
I loved Marty Supreme, man. The reason why was Chalamet, like his ego, I think helps him in certain shit too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like when he was doing, I don't know if you saw the song he made with the like that British rapper
Oh,
and
yeah, I
shit.
did.
Like,
Yeah.
like he's a maniac, bro. I
Yeah.
loved to see. Like I was entertained. But the film itself, I just thought it was like a pretty refreshing like character where you don't really like him that much, but you still want. At least I still wanted to see him win. Like
Yeah.
I thought it was like an original story, which I don't see a ton of anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I fucked with it, man. Long story short,
Yeah.
they're not paying me to promote Marty
Right.
Supreme, but
Yeah, I mean,
I enjoyed it. Exactly, get those
Don't
orange.
get checked, dude. I'll promote Marty Supreme.
Fuck
But-
yeah, man. We need the sponsorship. But
Yeah.
that was my one movie that I wanted to ask you about. What you thought of Marty Supreme? Yeah.
If I'm like really being critical, I think, and I don't remember verbatim what the scene is, but there's somewhat of a scene in that movie where he's talking about like a plan A and a plan B, and he's talking about that there is no plan B.
Right. Yes, I remember that.
I did really like that.
Yeah.
Because I think as a creative, we can be, I mean, especially in like romantic relationships, dude, creatives can be really hard to date.
Sure.
And at least speaking for myself, I think certain times, you know, we're always going to love our passion and our dream a little bit more than sometimes even our partner sometimes, right? Like it's always on our brain.
Yeah.
And so, and it's like that one scene where he's talking about like there is no plan B. Like I got to do this for me.
Yeah.
It's like do or die kind of thing,
Yeah,
right?
I
And it's
remember
like
that scene.
I kind of unfortunately kind of related to it or at least
Exactly.
understood it. Like I understood his mentality because it's like if I had to die alone but I achieved all my dreams, I would do that. Now, do I want that? Of course
Yes.
not. Of course not. But you know, there is that. I think they nailed that part of like just when you're a visionary and you have this dream that you're chasing. It's like it's all you want. It is your fuel, your drive. It's the reason you get up. You endure the shitty 9 to 5 that you're working. It's the whole reason why you make it through every day to try and chase that dream, right? And I think his relentlessness of chasing that dream was so spot on. Obviously, is he like the best of guys? No. By far, no. But I think that is one part that I did really like about Marty Supreme.
You nailed it, bro. That summarizes how I was feeling.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. Like, no, I get where he's coming from with this. Like, is he speeding? Yes.
Right.
But I get where he's fucking coming from.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed that.
Yeah, because there's like friend drama, dude, and it's like it's this or chasing your dream. It's like, man,
not
bye.
even close.
Like I'm going after this, even if it never happens. It's like again, like my biggest fear, dude. Looking back on my life and saying I didn't try would kill me. I would hate that. And it's like, if I die tomorrow, would that be unfortunate? Because there's things I want to do, like be in a Marvel movie.
There you go.
Yeah, for sure. But it's like at least if that happened, I could look back and say, I tried. You know what
Absolutely,
I mean?
bro. It's not about the result, man. The result is sick if you get it.
Yeah.
Enjoy that.
The
but the
journey's
journey's everything, man. That's the whole point.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. There's an old Russ song called The Journey is Everything, and that's fire. Do you ever listen to Russ back in the day?
Rust or Rush?
Russ. The rapper. He's got like
Russ, another Sicilian.
Yeah.
Russ, shout out to. I don't know any of his music, but I like his interviews. He's a smart guy, man. He's big on like independent.
He's gotten art too, dude.
Yeah.
With some of his early interviews, he's a little cocky.
He is, but you need it, like. And I remember one time he was talking about like he was seen as someone that was the easy target, but really he's the one that's doing what a lot of these guys say they're doing. Like he's the one making money. He's the one independent.
Yeah.
He's not really needing to kiss too much ass, you know?
Yeah.
As opposed to these guys, they talk shit about Russ.
Yeah.
He's really doing it.
Yeah. And with that, that's another thing is like that thin line of confidence and cockiness, right? I think if you've got the credits, man,
fuck it, exactly.
Talk your shit. You know what I mean?
Bro.
I'm never one to like shut down someone who has done the work and has like every right to talk about the hard work they've done.
Sure.
Right? If they're promoting a movie, a song that they made, whatever the case may be.
It's facts.
If you've done the work, dude, talk about it.
Yeah.
For sure. And I think, but then there's that thin line where if you're talking too much, now you're coming off as like a cocky, arrogant guy. And that's where it's like, okay, dude. But Russ has got a lot of, you know, do I love his music now? I haven't listened to a lot of it anymore.
Yeah.
Back in high school, did I listen to a lot of his songs? For sure. But I think one thing I can say with Russ is like, bro knows himself. Bro knows the business. And he did it himself, and he's got every right to talk about like his accomplishments because he earned them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you remember that time he wore that, or he posted it or wore a shirt of like how many Xans do you have to take?
Yeah, that was crazy.
And that created like a pretty interesting little controversy.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That might be an example of, I do like your message, but I think you could have, you know, been less of a dick about it. But at the same time,
also in a way, it's kind of genius though, dude. Because
very
like,
genius. People noticed.
Yeah, and it's like,
and it started that conversation.
Right, and all publicity can be good publicity, dude. Whether they're talking bad on your name is still in their mouth, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like...
That was an interesting one.
Could be, you know, depending on what it is, obviously. If you're like, I don't know, coming out as like a sex offender or something crazy, you obviously don't want that publicity.
Reason.
Yeah, right.
Within
but
reason.
Like, you know, a little debate on Timothy Chalamet being an arrogant guy.
Yeah.
You know,
and guys like that, Chalamet, Russ, like they're important because you do see a lot of guys that are just so afraid to rock the boat, and that doesn't do anything. Like that doesn't, you know, that doesn't move the needle.
Create waves, man.
Exactly. You know? If you're gonna talk your shit and own it, I respect it. You know, Chalamet, you know, he got a lot of heat for his opera comments, whatever. It's his opinion, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, the ballet comments.
Ballet, yeah, like he wasn't taking shots at ballet, man. He was just on his shit, you know, like in my opinion, at least. I feel people were like, "Oh, how fucking dare he?" Like he was just talking his shit. He got carried away.
Yeah. For sure. And I think playing, like, coming off a role, playing Marty Supreme.
Yeah, he was still in character, low-key.
Like, like, good actors, dude, sometimes they take pieces away of these characters they play, you know, and it can be easy to forget to, like, separate the character from your identity. And if you're filming a movie for 2 years or a year or whatever, and you're playing that character every week, you know, you're going to pick up certain attitudes or personalities a little bit, maybe. And so,
great point.
I don't know. I think, I agree with you. I think maybe it wasn't the best thing to say.
No.
But do I think maybe some Marty Supreme was bleeding through Timothy himself? For sure.
Exactly, man.
But yeah, man.
Grace is an important thing, too. Someone told me that one time. Like, if we're always judging people for their worst moments, that's really unfair because all of us have bad days or say something perfect, stupid. Dude. You know, you gotta, it's like, within reason again.
Yeah.
But someone says something they probably shouldn't have said. I'm not going to kill them over it, man. Come on.
Right.
Like, it happens. When I say something stupid, I hope I get a little grace too, you know?
Right.
As long as you don't keep making that mistake.
Right. Yeah.
But I think that's social media culture, man.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
How fucking dare he do this? Like, bro, he's a fucking human being and shit happens.
On social media
yeah, like,
man.
come on, man. Take it easy.
Yeah, for real. No, definitely more grace is needed on people, I think, for sure.
I think so too, man.
Yeah, I mean, like I said it multiple times today, dude. I'm not perfect. I messed up.
And no one ever was or will be.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I said mean things, dude. Like, come on. Like, I don't know.
Human, bro.
So, yeah, but it's like, this day and age is you say one wrong thing, your whole life could be over. And it's, you know, and again, within reason. But yeah, dude, I think there's too much cutting throats.
Cutting, bro. Look in the mirror, man. Are you perfect? No. So fucking shut up sometimes. Right. Leave it. Like,
right.
You'll be all right.
Yeah. And it's like, if you're not, I mean, I feel like everyone's met someone in their life, you know, that sometimes steered them on the right path or maybe had the guts to call them out and be like, hey, dude, maybe don't be that kind of person, you know? And maybe try doing that. You know, you don't know if that person might need someone in their life. Maybe they never had anyone in their life to call them out. And so they've just, you know, or the world's beating them down. And so they're very defensive and they've always had to fight for what they have or fight for their voice to be heard, right? Maybe they grew up with 7 siblings and they were never accounted for who they want. Like, what do you guys want for dinner? And their voice was never heard. So they grew up internalizing that and projecting that of like, I need to be the loudest one in the room. You don't know someone's story, you know? So what someone might come meeting you at with, like, you may think is anger or like impulsive or immature. It's like, sit down and talk with the person, you know, and try and meet them where they're at first.
Yep.
You know, and
it's easier to judge from a distance than it is to
to
have that conversation. But the easier path is usually not the best path.
Of course. Yeah.
So that's well said, bro. You're a well-spoken guy, man.
Thank you, man.
It's very important, I think, as an actor to be able to not have to rely on scripts. I think that's a very, very important skill to have. Yeah. So that's good, man. You're a good guy to chop it up with.
Thanks, man. Did a lot of self-care work. You know? Big meditating guy.
Nice.
Journals. I remember.
Love journaling.
Yeah, dude, journaling's great.
You journal every day?
Yeah.
Good for you.
Shadow work. Have you ever done like shadow work before?
I have not.
Oh my gosh, dude, it's crazy. It's like meditation with like healing your inner child and like hugging your younger self while your future version of yourself is hugging your present self, and all of those subconscious things that are buried deep in your subconscious brain, you know, healing those triggers, revisiting memories that you buried, kind of thing. I remember I got out of this like really bad relationship with this girl and was sleeping on my buddy's couch. He was a real estate agent at the time. It's my buddy Garrett. Shout out Garrett. He's not in real estate anymore, but it's cool. But at the time, he was like, yeah, dude, we're going to get you like a 1-bedroom apartment. You can stay on my couch for a month or 2. He like was living in a condo. And I was like, sick. And I had a great paying job at the time. And then that 2 months turned into like 7. It was like turned into almost like 9 months. And through that, dude, I was living in this living room. I worked on a laptop, and every day I would wake up on this couch, work, close the laptop, and I had like probably square footage of this little room, which the camera can't see, but really small.
Yeah.
And I had trash bags of clothes, my Xbox, and then like this book that my dad gave me from one of my birthdays. It was like How to Do the Work. And I was like, I'm so bored. Video games aren't filling this need to do something. So I guess I'll read this book, dude. And it like set me on this path of like self-help books, which I hate calling them that because everyone assumes you like have a problem, but like that self-discovery, self-help book genre. And dude, taught me so much about just past traumas, you know, who we subconsciously find in toxic partners and why we're driven to them, insecurities within yourself, other people taught me and brought me into other books, you know, 48 Laws of Power, Art of Seduction, 7 Spiritual Laws of Success, The Alchemist. Right?
Love The Alchemist.
Love The Alchemist.
Just read that last year for the first time.
Yeah.
So good, man.
Stuff like not even relationship stuff, but just instead of saying if this happens, when this happens. Right? Like looking in the mirror and manifesting that, owning that confidence, and kind of like I said, stepping into that Spider-Man mask, if you will, right? Of this version of yourself that already exists. Be that, like it already is there. Yeah. And when you adapt that, your subconscious brain makes you make decisions that you don't even realize at the time lead you towards that end result. And it's same vice versa. If you're always talking negative on yourself, right? Or the world's against me, blah, 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 blah. You're going to face these negative things over and over again. And people find like, or ask themselves, why am I stuck in this position? It's like, you don't realize you're attracting that energy or attracting those people, right? So anyways, thank you for the compliment, dude.
That's great stuff, bro.
I learned a lot of that stuff, and
that's like that's an interesting thing too. I don't know how you feel about it, but for me, I'm into a very similar type of stuff,
dude,
and
sick.
You know, it's my favorite part of it is it doesn't stop. Like you keep learning about yourself. Dude. Like that self-discovery. That's not this summer I discovered myself and now I'm done. No, it's a lifelong. Right. Every fucking day.
Dude, even the guy I was 3 years ago is like completely different from the man I am now, bro. You know, and it's like, oh my gosh.
I'll come home from work sometimes, so I'll be like, damn, like I maybe did this in a certain way that maybe not the best, you know, or I could see how that could come off as this. Right. That's not just paranoia. It's, no, man, I got to be aware of what I'm doing. I got to be aware of how I move. And if I didn't do something as well as I think I could have, tomorrow's a new day. Yeah. Let's fucking try it. Right. You know, but I think we do think we're the shit or we think we're terrible. Right. No, bro, you're all right. Yeah. Just keep going. Learn about yourself. Like, I'm into that type of shit, bro. Can't be afraid of what makes you tick.
Exactly. Yeah. You know? I mean, I can't remember if it was my dad or someone else, but I mean, I think it's just a saying maybe, but just 1% better every day. Sure. Of course, like I look at every day when I'm laying in bed at night looking at my ceiling and I'm like, is there anything that I could have done better? And 9 times out of 10, there's something I could have done better. Right. But also at the same time, I believe in like living every day like it's your last, right? And I try to live every day that like, yes, I make some mistakes, sure, but if this was my last day on earth, would I be content? I think so. Most days, you know? Yeah, that's good. Obviously, there's, again, things I want to do, goals I want to accomplish, you know, people I forget to text or reach out to on birthdays or whatever, being a good partner or boyfriend, brother, whatever the case may be, right? Texting your grandparents every once in a while. Sure. I suck at that, you know. Need to text my grandma more. Reaching out to my dad, you know. Yeah. But again, I think it's what can I do, you know? And like you said, that process never ends. Yeah. You can always learn something. Yeah, man. You know, so you
don't have to beat yourself up. Just do it next time. Like.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. And even bleeding into acting, dude. It's like, you know, you do a scene one day and then the next day you're like, oh, I'm gonna give it a little bit more oomph this time on my scenes today, you know, and you're constantly analyzing yourself. You know what I mean? So a movie that you did 8 months ago versus a movie you wrapped 2 weeks ago, it's like night and day. And you're like, oh my goodness. So
When you're finished learning, you're finished.
Yeah. No, I like that, dude.
That one? That's my dad used to say that.
That's awesome, dude.
Some good shit.
That's a great saying, for sure.
Yeah, man. When you're finished learning, you're finished. I think that's completely true.
Yeah.
You don't know everything.
Yeah. And you can't pretend to know everything.
Exactly.
Yeah. You can always learn. Even if you think you know everything, dude, there's someone that's going to say something that's going to rattle your brain.
Yeah.
And you're going to be like, whoa, that's deep, you know?
Yeah,
or
man.
Like, dang, I never thought of it that way. Like, perspective is a beautiful thing, dude. And the more you can learn about different people's perspectives, whoever they may be, it's like, I think the better your life's going to be. Like, my favorite thing to do on set, besides acting, right, is I try to talk to everybody, dude. The gaffer, the sound guy, the grip, the cameraman, you know, the other leads, the supporting actors, the extras, like anybody on the crew, right? It's like I try and just talk to everybody. My favorite questions asked like is, what are you a nerd about? You know, and I get crazy answers, and I get like really cool answers, and people I didn't even know had a fan base I hear things about. And I'm like, that's sick. You know, what got you into that? And then you just start building these relationships, and I think that's the best part of life, dude, is relationships.
Yeah.
You know? So, yeah, man. I don't remember what your last question was, but we just been yapping, which is great.
Hey, man. It's been a great conversation, and I've really enjoyed it. And also, I want to give you the chance, too. Is there anything you got project-wise that you want to promote or anything like that?
Oh, wow, yeah. Well, I mean, dude, I've been fortunate enough and blessed enough to have been really busy basically since October. Nice. So we've got a film. It's a closed premiere of Lethal Dust. That's a film I did in October, starring, I'm going to try and name everyone, Sierra Tremaine, Bricia Doyle, Gila Cohen, Celine Dahora, I believe, are the 4 main female leads. And then myself, I play a quick supporting character. And then my other good friend, Avery Vaughn, he lives in New York now. He's also in that, so that will be coming out in June. And then, yeah, man, I've done so many films. I'm lucky. We've got The Freezing coming out, directed by Brady Hayes. He just released a film called Pickle Boy, so go and see that. We just had a screening for a film festival for that, so that will be probably getting released soon. Mm-hmm. Tons of actors in that. There's so many I could name. But yeah, I think the most closest thing is going to be Lethal Dust. That'll be a closed premiere, and I think they're going to try and do a festival run. Oh, sick! So
definitely keep me posted.
Know. Yeah. And then we've got The Freezing coming up. I think that's aimed to be September. Nice. Love the character I played in that. Jason Turner's my guy. And then we just wrapped a fantasy film called Here We Are. That will be coming out, I don't know when I guess post-production's done. Mm-hmm. And then another film, Well. Those are both directed by the same director, Sydney. So, yeah, dude, we got some stuff coming out for sure.
Prolific. I like it, man.
Yeah,
good.
Dude. Bunch of different ranges. Drama, fantasy, horror, some romance. I've got a thing we're doing, I think in November we're starting filming. A little romance film. So that'll be fun. But yeah, man, that's pretty much everything I got.
That's fucking awesome, bro.
I forget. Hey, whoops. If I forgot a film, don't hate me.
That was pretty good, man. No notes, you know. That was off the top of your head. So that was pretty damn good.
I could have pulled out my phone and just went down the list.
I respect it, man. But Michael, I appreciate you, man. Dude. It's been great to chat with you.
Appreciate you.
Where can people find your recent updates and stuff like that?
Yeah. So main hub would be Instagram. So just Michael, Michael _Policci, Policci. On Instagram, I pretty much post everything there. And then, yeah, that's probably the first place. And then my IMDb will be linked soon, and Film Reel will be done soon. Sick. So they'll be able to see that. And repost and tagged, and my main grid, everything's on there. So
excellent.
Yeah, dude.
Awesome, man. Well, all the best to you. I appreciate you, man. It's been great to chat with you.
You as well.
Go check out Michael's stuff. Versatile Vigilante. Always dropping some fire, man. Let's go 2026. Let's get it.